Today I'm gonna be talking about 3 things in music videos that make you look like an amateur.
I love you.
Let's get it. Frame rates. I can't stress enough how many times I see videos exported in 60 frames and it just look crazy. Like it looks so amateurish. It looks so smooth. Like it's just like everything is just seen. Like it's no cinematic feel to it. It's no choppiness to it. It's nothing that says that this is like a high budget type of production. You know what I'm saying? And I know sometimes we don't understand that. We think those little minor things don't matter, but they make all of the difference. You put a 60 frame clip into a 24 frame timeline and you export it in 24 frames, and it'll make a huge difference to your final product, and definitely a step your game up. Definitely it'll make you look less like an amateur. It'll get you right there on board with the rest of us. 2, losing focus in mid shot. Sometimes we tend to get into these situations where we shooting and we got a lot of movement in the camera and we like to leave autofocus on. Autofocus is only used for purposes like maybe like this, you know what I'm saying? I think autofocus should only be used when you're using like a tripod or it ain't too much movement going around and you don't necessarily gotta move the camera around and potentially lose focus. So just keep that in mind, learn how to manual focus, get used to it, go out there and practice. I don't care what you gotta do. Go out there, get your camera, put it on manual focus, and learn which way goes further away, which way goes closer. So that way you'll get familiar with manual focus. So when you on set and doing these shoots and you in a certain scene, you able to make sure that you staying on focus with your subject as they move around. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to follow them and make sure you keep that focus nice and tight. Make sure it's cool. For the most part, when it's a lot of movements, you won't necessarily see it lose focus too much, but just keep that in mind. 3, bad exposure. My goodness, this is probably one of the most important on the list. I'm gonna be honest with you. You got to have the right exposure, because when you got the right exposure, you're able to color grade in post-production. And post-production is probably the one thing, it's a misconception where we feel like, oh, I just fix it in post. Everything can't always be fixed in post. Them dark shadows that you got in your scene, they can't always be fixed in post. You're gonna raise them dark shadows up, you're gonna raise everything else up, and it's gonna look grainy, it's gonna look terrible, it's gonna look horrible. Do not fall for that trick to where you think you can fix everything in post because you feel like you know so much that you don't gotta necessarily get it right in camera. You can't always do the magic on the computer. You gotta make sure you're getting it right, make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing, and get that exposure right. Set the ISO right, set the aperture you want, make sure the shutter speed is where it needs to be. Then you put it in post. Then you add your color grades. And definitely shoot in a flat profile. Because when you shoot in a flat profile, you're able to control a little bit more than you are when you got a set preset that you're using in camera. So those are my 3 mistakes in music videos that make us look amateur. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share this video. Comment down below what you want to see next. And just stay tuned for more, man. You already know, it's JR Productions. I'm out. Let's get it.